What's up, guys? Welcome back to Unbreakable Grind. It's your guy CJ back with another video, man. I'm sitting here about 5 o'clock in the morning. I should be asleep, but I'm really just studying, man, and looking over some old videos of one of my favorite mentors that I've never met, Thomas Sowell. If you don't know who he is, he's an American economist. He's he was previously a fellow at Stanford. I'm talking a very, very smart guy, world renowned for his genius insights. Okay, now I just want to go over some stuff that I'm listening to currently, and I just want to show you guys a couple of ideas that's going to come out of this guy's mouth. A lot of things that he says, you're going to notice how they resonate with a lot of things I say. It's because I actually studied a lot of things that Thomas Sowell says, along with a lot of other mentors that I've never met also, whether I met them through reading, or I met them through videos, or I met them through audio. Okay, I take what they say seriously, and because I value them as intellectuals. All right, I've been able to simplify my life with this information and understand the world around me at large, and this has given me an immense advantage. Now, their race does play a part in a lot of these, a lot of this commentary. It's not because it has anything to do with racism necessarily, but it's more about actually logically thinking about the world at large and really trying to solve problems to be productive as a person. All right, so with that being said, we're gonna jump right in here. This is good information. Okay, these are things you must know if you want to be successful, in my opinion. Okay, I know how I know how I maneuver. I know how I'm very confident in the steps I take in my day-to-day life. I rarely ever have to take a step back, if ever, because I actually I take knowledgeable steps forward, leveraging advice that I've gotten from some of the greats like Thomas Sowell. All right, with no further ado, I gotta start the video.
If you look at blacks who have not finished high school, blacks who come from background of families that are broken and so forth, they are falling further and further behind. Not only further behind the population in general, but further behind whites with the same disadvantages.
What do you blame for that? You're not blaming middle-class blacks who are beneficiaries of affirmative action, are you?
I'm blaming the incentives created by affirmative action, because when it comes to the incentives that are created, the businessman is going to try to protect himself whatever way he can, and that means hiring those blacks who are overqualified, who have a long track record, and so on. And that's what all the data show, that for example, black couples where the husband and wife are both college educated now make more money than white couples where the husband and wife are both educated. But
He just said a mouthful. Okay, he said a mouthful already. Okay. Excuse the cough, guys. I'm trying to get over it. But he said a mouthful already. He went into something that's very important to not miss. Okay. He was talking about affirmative action and the implications of that. He also talked about how the uneducated black community was falling behind faster. The uneducated black community in broken homes, they're falling behind faster than the white community with the same circumstances. Let's say that one more time. The black community with broken homes are falling behind faster than the white community with the same circumstances. He also threw in affirmative action. Dang it. He also threw in affirmative action. I threw a blank, guys. I've been up since 5 o'clock. It's 5 o'clock right now. I only slept on 2 hours, dude. I'm tripping, but I'm passionate about this. Anyway, he also brought up affirmative action. All right. And the implications of affirmative action, stating that black people who are educated, okay, who are educated and experienced are moving forward faster than white people who are educated and experienced, which is it's the exact inverse of the previous statement. So on one side of the spectrum, you have blacks that are moving forward faster than blacks who are educated and experienced, moving forward faster than whites who are alike. And then you have on the other end, blacks from broken families, uneducated, moving back faster. It's very important to understand This guy is a genius. He's predicted many things before his time. Everything he says it's more applicable today than it was even when he said it at those exact moments. I felt the momentum of what he says. A lot of decisions I made as far as how I pursued education, how I actually engaged our American economy, our USA economy, were influenced by this guy. I actually was very strategic as to how I engaged with this economy. Okay, my actions were very data driven, and that's how you need to be if you want to be successful. I know a lot of times it seems like I'm forcing you guys to go in a very limited structure of lanes. It's almost like, hey, you're forcing me to be this way, or you're forcing me to go this way. But really, I'm forcing you into a funnel that's going to put you in a spot to have the ultimate abundance in this structure we're put in, right? In the structure that we happen to exist in. I'm just showing you how to actually get the maximum outcome, right? And a lot of times we can even feel oppressed in our economy or oppressed in our society. And a lot of times it's because we're miseducated as to how the system we're engaging in even functions. And it leaves us really just being a puppet. We don't really understand why we're moving behind so fast. We don't understand why we're falling behind and why we feel incompetent and why things feel so hard and why things are so expensive and why things are so difficult and why life is so difficult. We don't really understand what's happening. Okay? But if you empower yourself to understand exactly what's happening, you'll understand that if you're on the other side of the spectrum, you'll be moving forward faster than you might ever be able to even wrap your head around. One thing that fascinates me is how well off I can be at such a young age with no stress, living an abundant life that's gonna I got a video showing how I'm scaling my income with Warren Buffett, and right now I'm actually succeeding age for age. Not to say that I'm gonna succeed for the rest of my life to age for age keep up with Warren Buffett, but to even be able to say that as a 28-year-old black dude with dreadlocks who started with nothing really. I started from zero. I didn't have an inheritance or anything like that. That means I must be tapped into something special, and he's talking about those things. Pay attention. Please pay attention, because a lot of you are either doing the work right now, trying to think of what you're gonna do next so you can get ahead, thinking about how you can be successful, and you're really trying to figure it out. And if you really are, you don't want to miss this type of information. It'll change your life, and it'll make sure you don't waste your time. Understand me is very important. When I was very young, 17, 18, I was listening to this stuff, reading this stuff all of the time when I got a little bit of free time. I promise you it'll change your life. Let's keep going. It gets good. Keep going.
But the black female-headed family has lost real income in absolute terms over the past several years and has fallen further behind white female-headed families. So
Now that's getting into the black female-headed family and how that family's falling behind faster than the white female-headed family. I need you to understand that I won't even go and convolute this and take this on a tangent by showing you the media manipulation and how it's important that we remain having black single mother headed families and how that affects our population. I won't go into that. See, a lot of things I say have there's a lot to it. And I know I like this depicted in a simple way so that I don't get it doesn't go too left field. But we have to get down in the weeds at some point, and we'll keep going. But just make sure you heard that, right? You guys heard that. The black woman-headed family is falling behind faster than the white woman-headed family. It isn't about being racist, okay? This is just facts. This is a logical breakdown of a reality so that we can all understand how to operate within these boundaries that we have. Okay, it's just reality. All right, let's keep going.
opposite trends are going on at the same time, and you can't argue this because of blackness or racism, because both of them are black people.
And I don't want to keep stopping it, but you can't argue that society is racist. For the black family falling behind, you can't say society's racist because you also have a black family that's accelerating ahead faster than the white family. This is so powerful. This is such a big statement that I wouldn't even, that I need you to listen to him, not even listen to me. I wouldn't even, I don't have the clout to say what he said. I've experienced what he said, but he has to back me up because I wouldn't even, you know how weird it is to tell people that, to try to depict the experience. You know how weird it is to tell your fellow counterpart that I don't think it's racism that's affecting you. I think you've positioned yourself on the wrong side of the needle, and therefore you're just playing the wrong card. You're in the wrong lane. You're just in the wrong. You're in the wrong vehicle. It's like we're at a racetrack and we're choosing our cars, right? And you hopped in a Toyota Prius, but you could choose any car. If I was to put it in a simple analogy, you can literally hop in the Corvette, and you know you can't hop in the Prius and say it's unfair. And these aren't my words. This guy is very, very smart, world-renowned, respected by all races, respected by all arenas. Thomas Sowell. Let's keep going. This is very, very important. A lot of you are doing the work right now trying to grow, whether you're old, whether you're young, whether you're middle age. If you don't have this information, you're at a disadvantage. You're at a disadvantage because one, you might have never even experienced this. So it's two ways you can know this. You can know from someone telling you, or you can know from experience. Okay? Some people have never heard this, nor have they ever experienced it, meaning they've been operating without this information, which means they've been operating at a total disadvantage. You're at a disadvantage. You're crippled. So I want you to understand this, okay? This is fire. This is that heat. All right, let's keep going.
One group is shooting way ahead, one is falling further and further behind. And a large part of that reason, I believe, and the data seem to suggest, is because the incentives created by affirmative action and similar kinds of programs just make it too dangerous to take a chance. I don't ask what is the cause of poverty. Everybody is born poor and ignorant. The question is,
everyone's born poor and ignorant.
What factors allow some groups to get from that position? Blacks, first of all, started further back and are coming forward. And at this point, there simply has not been the pattern of entrepreneurship in the black population. That's been true of other groups, such as the Irish, for example. The Irish are doing quite well today, but they're not doing well in entrepreneurial occupations. They're in the law, they're in the church, they're in this, they're in that. And on the bottom line is they're doing better than the average American, but they're not doing it in those particular fields. Every group succeeds in some particular area. Blacks who win Nobel Prizes don't win them in the same fields that the Chinese win Nobel Prizes in.
You identified human capital in your book, and you say, now you tell me if I'm not paraphrasing you correctly, you say the Chinese succeed because they outwork everyone else.
Oh, yes.
Is it that simple?
In a sense, yes. That if you put in enormous amounts of work, you're going to have a tremendous advantage over people who don't.
If you put in an enormous amount of work, guys, I don't make this stuff up. When I found out about this guy, it changed my life. I was a young man, and this guy spoke to my deepest internal drive. And he tied it with facts. And no one could ever convince me of anything after I understood the truth. And I've always succeeded because I've always been data driven, and I'm standing on the backs of giants. So it's not me being great, right? I'm standing on the backs of giants, and I understand what I'm dealing with. Hard work. If you work harder than everyone else, your outcomes, check this out.
Enormous amounts of work, you're going to have a tremendous advantage over people who don't.
If you put in enormous amounts of work, you're going to have a tremendous advantage over people who do not. I need you to understand that I only slept 2.5 hours. I don't even have to do that at this point. But once you realize how much of an advantage you get by doing the hard work, it's addicting. You get an exponentially large result over time. The opportunity cost of not doing it is very large. Like once you really, really do the work, I know a lot of you feel like you're not making progress. Stick in there. Understand me. You stick in there, you're not going to be able to believe the distance that the distance of separation between you and the ones that do not work as hard as you. It's not linear. If it was like linear growth in effort would be 1 unit of energy of effort in, 1 unit of result out. 2 units of effort in, and I'm behind the freaking screen, but 2 units of effort in, 2 units of results out. It's more like 1 unit of effort in, 1 unit of result out. 2 units of effort in, 4 units of result out. You get what I'm saying? 3 units of effort in, 9 units of results out. So once you get all the way to the other end of the spectrum, you have ridiculous returns on your exerted energy, and it's ridiculous. Okay, like sometimes I laugh because what used to take to get the results, I used to like results. A year of results of me spending all of my time, day and night of results, right? Maybe 5 years ago. I'm talking, if I would give 5 years ago, if I would give all of my energy, I could probably I could click a few buttons and be more productive than I can click a few buttons a couple of days out of 1 week out of 1 year and be more productive than my whole year 5 years ago. So what happens if I use the same discipline from 5 years ago in this equation? I need you guys to understand this. Keep working. Let's keep going. You all can take advantage of this. There's nothing special about me besides the hard work part. That's the special part. Almost none of you are going to work that freaking hard. Understand me. Most of you aren't. But the ones that do, you got a cool thing coming. You got some cool stuff coming.
A study was done in San Francisco schools to show Asians, blacks, whites, Hispanics, and how they score in various fields and mathematics in particular. And there were vast differences, for example, between the Asians and blacks in terms of how many got high math grades. What struck me was that for both the Asians and the Africans, the number of hours that you spent working or doing homework in math was almost identical with the same percentage who got high grades in math. So that whether you're black or Chinese, if you spend an awful lot of time on the math, you're going to be doing better than the person who's not.
The people who spent the most time on math got the best results out of math. Who would have known? Who would have known? Who would have known, man? What they found out is that the strongest correlation to the outcome was the input. Let's say that again. They found that the strongest correlation to the outcome was the input. Man, that's powerful. Race. The study didn't show that any race was more significant when it came to learning math. They found that whoever put in the most effort did the best at math. In certain demographics happened to put in more effort, but it correlated directly to the output or the outcome. Very powerful. So what does that tell you, man? What does that tell you? You got to do the work. You got to grind. You got to grind. I'm telling you. Let's keep going.
And although there were great disparities, the disparities were differences in how much time you spent on math homework.
Well, then conversely, Dr. Sowell, are you not saying that groups who do not...
What are you doing with your time? Come on, man. You got to put in work. I like being up when everybody's asleep. You get what I'm saying? Right now, I consider this work because somebody's going to listen to me and somebody's life is going to get changed. Somebody's going to look at this and not think it's stupid and boring. Okay? They're going to watch this instead of watching the new song, hip hop song. And they're going to go crazy in their results. And if I can help one person, it's worth it. That's why I'm up a little longer to make this video. Let's keep going.
Overachieve, or groups who don't work hard enough?
Sometimes, but sometimes the government itself makes it impossible or very difficult for groups to work hard enough. The minimum wage law is one classic example. Occupational licensing laws are another. Insofar as the school system fails, those groups that don't have an independent educational tradition are lost. Whereas if you have that independent tradition, even if you go to a bad school, if the parents can help you, if you get the maximum that you possibly can from the books and so on, you still may achieve quite a lot. So it's a combination. It is the culture, but at the same time, insofar as a society puts barriers, particularly the government, which has tremendous power, and supplies education and other kinds of things, insofar as they do that, they make it tougher for you to do it.
Well, do you suspect that you may be guilty of de-emphasizing the effects of racism in that pattern?
There's always, everything is a possibility. But as I look at the data, I don't find any correlation between the degree of racism and the degree to which groups advance. That is, if you look at the history of the Chinese in Southeast Asia, the hostility they have encountered there will compare with any hostility blacks have encountered here. There have been a number of occasions in the history of Southeast Asia where the number of Chinese killed in a few days exceeded all the blacks lynched in the history of the United States. So they are enormously hated.
What about Jews?
The Jews, of course, the same thing has happened with the Jews numerous times. Thousands killed here, thousands killed there. And of course, under the Nazis, millions killed. The groups, incidentally, which have suffered the most violence, and I use that as one index of group hostility or racism, those groups have typically been middleman minorities. The Chinese, the Jews, the Armenians, the Igbos in Nigeria, 30,000 of those were killed in massacres just within our time. And yet I don't find any correlation in the long run between the economics and the political hostility. One of the things that surprised me was how
I think I'm going to wrap it up there, man. He said he saw no correlation between the economics and the political hostility. No correlation between the economics and the political hostility. I made a video not that long ago telling you that race does not matter when it comes to your achievement and success. It doesn't matter. Your sexual orientation doesn't matter. I know that's hard to believe. The data doesn't show it. Now, any person with any sense would understand that we know these things play a role, but sometimes you want to take an unemotional look at your situation to make sure that you're not seeing things in a convoluted way. So sometimes it's good to say, you know what, let me objectively look at the data. I feel like the people who are the most oppressed should have the most suppressed economic outcomes. But when I look at the data, I see no correlation. Hard to believe. I feel like I'm in a racist society because we're so far behind even though we're trying so hard. But the data might simultaneously show you someone of your exact demographics who's accelerating ahead at an astronomical and insane proportion. So you got to think about that. These ideas changed my life. I want you all to really understand that there's no excuse. The work that you put in is going to correlate to the output your outcome. Okay? Your output is just a function of your input. If you outwork everyone else, I guarantee you a great result. Also understand that our economy, the society we live in, places a disproportionate and high emphasis on education. You can show me as many millionaires as you want to show me with no education. And I need you to understand what the data shows you, what the data says. Understand me. I say this I mean this, and I say this from the most humble part of my heart, man. I genuinely want to see people win. I wouldn't dare sell you guys this as a product because I don't have to sell it. Some people might sell it. I don't have to because I already have my own level of abundance. I truly want to see some of you guys win. A lot of you are way closer to winning than you think. You just got to put in the work. Way closer than you think. Your current your current situation is your hardest situation. I need you to understand that. Remember, I told you success is exponential. So at first you put in 1 unit of work and you get 1 out. So it doesn't feel like it's that productive until you get to where you start putting in 2 units of work. You start putting in more work, 2 units. And it turns to 4 and 3 and it turns to 9. 4 turns to 12 and you start to notice, wow. You know what I'm saying? 4 to 16. You get my point. You get the drift. You start to realize that, wow, man, maybe, man, it's cough, man, but maybe I had this place wrong. Maybe I need to be more objective. Maybe I need to follow the data. Maybe I need to take a step back, be honest with myself, and get to work, man. I hope this helps somebody, man. If you like this content, hit that like button. Subscribe if you want to see more videos. Hit that notification if you want those immediately. All right. This is important, man. I had to drop this because this stuff changed my life. Many people wouldn't even pay attention to this information. This video might be boring to a lot of people. I used to go look these guys up. I used to dissect these guys, from the Robert Smiths, the Reginald Lewises, the Thomas Sowells. These are some of my favorite people. I stand on the back of giants. I'm going to go far. I know I am. You can go far. I know you can. Work harder than everyone else, man. Do that and you'll be all right.